Ooh. Okay. Okay, so is everyone watching? Ready? Okay. Got a little new format here. Sorry, I'm not quite ready. I'm setting up. Got a got a new fancy. Oh, I am actually. All right. Sorry, folks. I'm dealing with a new platform here. This is Tatsu with Real Progressives. I am coming to you with a hot and heavy critique of the Obama legacy and what that means for Donald Trump. So, the original title, hey there, hey Agent Apple. The original title of this talk was going to be, will Donald Trump be a fascist, a neocon, a liberal, or a centrist? Look at Obama's legacy to find the answer. And what we see if we look at the legacy of a Donald Trump, Barack Obama, is we see. Let me just outline the topics for you. So we have, and all of these links are in the description of this page. Yeah. Okay. So we have Obama on mass surveillance, Obama on habeas corpus, the NDAA Act of 2013, Obama on espionage, Obama on Dodd-Frank, Obama on immigration, Obama on war, torture, and drone strikes, Obama on private prisons. And then we have a section, Obama, nothing on DAPL, big oil, corporations, no jobs programs, nothing on unemployment, poverty, or unfettered capitalism. So before I get into it, I will just plug RP here for a second. Please like us on our YouTube channel right here. It's youtube.com/c/real progressives US. And let's see. I think I should probably try and share this out with my friends here on our Facebook page, which is hitting close to 100,000 subscribers or likers, and we're very excited about that. I think I'm just going to move this bar down just so you can see a little bit more of me. All right. Now, so there's been a lot of discussion about Donald Trump, what kind of president he may be, and I believe that the answer is not nearly as simple as, he's going to be a fascist, he's going to be, a surprise, maybe he'll be kind of good. These are all speculative, right? And I try as much as possible to deal in reality, to deal with the facts. And the hard truth or reality is that Barack Obama has given Donald Trump all the tools that he needs to be a fascist dictator. Because Barack Obama has, in fact, instituted, enhanced, enlarged, strengthened a mass surveillance state, which is unprecedented in human history. And I've only given you one link here. It's simply a Wikipedia page which details all the mass surveillance programs that we know of after 9/11. And if you haven't seen anything like this, if you don't know what PRISM is, if you don't know what X Keystone is, then you don't know what's going on in our government. You don't know to the extent of which you are being surveilled. And you certainly do not know, well, actually, that's the only part you do know. You know that your government has told you that we need these programs to remain safe from terrorism. But how objectively safe from terrorism are we? We have expanded wars in the Middle East. We have more mass shootings, terrorist-like incidents in America. We're talking about the Florida Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, the Boston Marathon bombing, so on. Now, that's this is one link that I sent to a liberal friend of mine, and it's one of the very few links that he actually looked at and posted on his own Facebook page and was like, wow, that's depressing. All right, so moving on, I think this is one of the most serious tools that Obama has given Donald Trump to basically be a dictator if he wants to be. And Obama has taken it upon himself to take away the legal writ of habeas corpus. And a legal writ is a term that means that you have not an inalienable right, a right like a right to breathe, clean air, a right to breathe at all, but a right that is a product of our legal system. And habeas corpus is one of them. What it means is that to be present of the body, from the body. So you cannot stand trial in absentia. You cannot be executed without being judged in person. And habeas corpus is not a U.S. constitutional idea. It goes back to the Magna Carta. So it goes back before the founding of this country. And although it is legal writ, there's an argument to be made that you just can't be, should not be accused, tried, executed in absentia. And this is what Barack Obama has done with the National Defense Authorization Act of 2013. Now, what is the NDAA? If you don't know what it is, and if you are not familiar with sections 1021 or 1022, then you just don't know Barack Obama. I'm sorry to say. So I provided a few links here, which do outline, 1021, 1022. The most aware, and active opponents of the NDAA is a very famous journalist. You may know him, Chris Hedges. He actually sued President Obama and won, but lost in a higher court ruling, and the Supreme Court refused to hear the case. So that's where it stands. Now, moving on, we have Barack Obama on espionage. And this is not talked about very much, but depending on who you listen to, Barack Obama has essentially sent 6 to 8 journalists or whistleblowers to jail under the Espionage Act. And in my searches, I found that, lo and behold, Jake Tapper, of all people, of CNN, reported on CNN that Barack Obama has utilized the Espionage Act against American citizens, journalists, activists, whistleblowers more than any administration in history. And PolitiFact rated that their highest, rating of mostly true. So that's, for your liberal friends who look at PolitiFiction, PolitiFact as some sort of authoritative source, you can point them out to that. So everyone from Bradley Manning or Chelsea Manning, and let's see, I know him. He's very. Thank you. Yeah, Mindy, Agent Apple. Mindy is my. Oh, Snowden. Okay. Hey, Catherine. So a couple of my buddies from RP chiming in here. Um, yeah, Agent Apple, if you have anything to add, or if you want to get in contact with us, we'd love to have any information you have regarding Mr. Snowden. And so, getting back to the subtopic at hand, Obama on the Espionage Act. If you're just joining us, is basically Obama. Not only has he changed upended the Constitution, upended legal frameworks like habeas corpus that are older than the United States and are almost universal in democratic, economically advanced, developed countries, and increased a mass surveillance state unlike any other in history. Oh, hedges. I know. Okay, I'm having a little trouble understanding Agent Apple here, but hey, Rob, how you doing? So the Espionage Act, just another tool. Again, we're talking about tools that Obama has established for himself to put in basically what has become a quasi fascist country. People are afraid of Donald Trump becoming the proto-fascist, but it's already here. We move on to Dodd-Frank. So Dodd-Frank was supposed to be the new Glass-Steagall, and of course it's nothing of the sort. It's turned out to be Catherine writes, it was very difficult to me to come to grips with the truth of Obama. I voted for him twice, and I'm completely sick over it after learning the truth. I am too, and I'm ashamed I voted for him twice as well. We all learned quite a lot in the past year and a half, starting, for me, when Hillary flipped on TPP. I just knew something was up. I knew that she was not who she said she was. And, thank goodness for internet. And it was just a rabbit hole that, finally we're starting to climb out of, right? Now, okay. So Dodd-Frank, read the articles. I have 3. One from the LA Times, one from the Wall Street Journal titled, After 5 Years, Dodd-Frank is a Failure. Now, this was supposed to protect and sort of regulate the big banks, but it did nothing of the sort. And as a joke, the last link is from somebody who I used to admire, pre-Obama, Mr. Paul Krugman. And, in this puff piece, Dodd-Frank financial reform is working. And he's also defending, Obamacare in that article. So it shows you just how out of touch the liberal elite class is from reality. Moving on. Obama on immigration. So this is very simple. Obama has deported 2.5 million people, more than all administrations in the past combined. And I've also included a link that I've posted before. I did one talk one night about Trump and immigration. And I guess this fits into the larger picture of tonight, in that Obama has already set the precedent for Donald Trump to deport millions more. First there was discussion about, rapid talk about deporting 11, 13 million out of status or undocumented people in this country. And that quickly scaled back to 2.3, 2 to 3 million, immigrants with criminal records who are out of status. Now, you might think that's a horrible thing still as a liberal. But what you don't know is that has been set in place by Barack Obama. Now, and I have the memo on prosecutorial discretion here, right from Department of Homeland Security, which of course is the umbrella and enforcement arm of CIS, Customs and Immigration Services. So in that PDF, we have the prioritization of or schedule almost of what constitutes deportation, essentially. So, and there's, priority 1, 2, and 3. Priority 1 being the highest. And that priority 1 includes people who are suspected of being associated with terrorists or gang activities. Notice that proof is not required, and that's very much with his theme of habeas corpus, doing away with that. The national 1021 and 1022 of the NDAA, which doesn't basically require trial of executing American citizens. You think someone, American citizen is a bad guy, just drop a bomb on him. No trial necessary. And so the same thing with immigration. You think this person, you can just simply accuse an immigrant of being associated with Al Qaeda, and he's out of here. All right, that is Obama. That is not Donald Trump. Again, all the tools he needs, Obama is giving him to Trump on a silver platter. Now, the next section, Obama on private prisons, it actually ties into immigration, because you should know that all of the incarcerated, it's not a binary thing with immigration. You can be out of status and or deported or scheduled for deportation, but there are literally millions in private prisons, private CIS prisons that are just huddling under silver Mylar blankets. And if you've seen, I'm sorry I didn't include it, but if you can Google, or not Google, but DuckDuckGo or your favorite search engine, immigration detention center photographs, you will find pictures of people huddled on the floor with. Have you ever seen the silver Mylar or metal plastic wraps that maybe marathon runners get at the finish line, to keep their body warm? That's what they give these people, and they crank the AC to like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're freezing to death. It's literally torture by air conditioning. So Obama, not a nice guy. I'm sorry. You might be bowled over by the smooth talk and turkey pardon jokes and the like. His daughters aren't, apparently, but not a nice guy. All right. So Obama in private prisons, and this is very much the MO of Barack Obama, where he says he's going to do away with private prisons, and then if you actually get into it, it looks a lot different. So the first article from New York Magazine is Obama's 1 billion giveaway to private prison industries. I had to sort of dig down deep a little further to get that article, but the search term I used, Obama private prisons, what you see at the first half of the results page is that, Obama's getting rid of private prisons. And in 2016, not 2008, Catherine Miller, horrible. Yeah, I guess she's Catherine's referring to, the freezing incarcerated immigrants in detention centers and ICE detention centers. Space blankets. Yeah, that's what they're called, I guess. So the school to prison pipeline is modern day slavery. That's what it turns out to be in effect. And yes, in addition to the private prisons, we just have a massively incarcerated subpopulation, and this is Obama. This is not Trump we're talking about. So, all right, now under the headline of Obama, nothing on Dapple, big oil corporations, no jobs program, no talk about unemployment, poverty, unfettered capitalism. Well, let's start with Dapple. The link here is just a video of excuse me, Jimmy Dore, who has his own show, the JDS, on YouTube. He's also part of Young Turks. He does a great job yesterday, just giving it to Obama, and that's worth a share too. So in 2007, Obama actually, took a trip out to the Native American peoples and tribes. He promised to stand up for their rights, for their treaties that were signed by us, and the government, and that's what he said. But he didn't do it. And when it comes to Dapple, towards the end of the election, he's like, well, I'm just going to have the Army Corps of Engineers and look into it, and we'll figure out what needs to be done. Turns out it was a huge lie. And in the meantime, he signed off on 2 other pipelines. So that's him on Dapple. And you can I think this is the real basket of deplorables right here. Throw in Elizabeth Warren on that. Throw in Hillary Clinton. Throw in the entire Democratic establishment, except for Bernie Sanders and now Tulsi Gabbard. So, all right. So let's see. Hey, Billy. How's it going? Makes me wonder. This has been going on the rule of supposed nice family man with no scandals. Right. Well, I think Jimmy Dore had it best in that he's just beholden to his donors, and he does whatever it takes to make them happy. And like Hillary Clinton, Obama's donors are not really big oil or big pharma even, but Wall Street. But as we know, Wall Street has enormous tentacles. Of course, they're heavily invested in big oil, so it makes sense. What goes around in money circles comes around. So, no jobs program. That's something Jimmy said. It's true. He hasn't, and to not just rub salt in the wound, but to put a big knife into it. Obama has been heavily pushing TPP, and TPP is just the start. There's TTIP, there's TISA. Please look them up if you don't know what they are. They're far worse. TISA, TISA, promises to do for any service job that NAFTA has done for manufacturing jobs. So basically any job that can be done at a computer, expect that to be decimated if TISA goes through. Unemployment. Unemployment is not really interesting, but it's a lie that this country is under 4.9% unemployment. The real number, according to not so heralded but respected economists, is something of 9.5 to 10% unemployment. And poverty, you can find, you can Google poverty, 50% poverty in America. One of the first articles to come up is from The Guardian, which says, flats out states 50% of American school children live in poverty. And so, so do the rest of America. Um, if the school children are living in poverty, obviously, so are the parents, right? So, Agent Apple, Obama singing about TPP on the Jimmy Fallon show was so gross. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have a TV. I'm just gonna, yeah, I thought the brightness was going down. All right, so enough about Obama. Now, I've given you all the major talking points on Obama. One last dig I want to get in. I was just thinking about it. I think in 2012, all of us who were fooled and now woke, figured, well, he's getting there. Maybe he'll close Guantanamo this year. Guess that's never going to happen. So he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even close Guantanamo. Excuse me. I'm going to pull a Marco Rubio. I've got 4 kids living in poverty. Yeah. My niece and nephew pretty much live that way. Okay. So that's me pulling a Marco Rubio, as opposed to last night when I was drinking and enjoying the tears of liberals. So I have 3 links on Donald Trump. And the first is a scary proposition of Trump. A dystopian take of from Chris Hedges, who is an expert on failing democracies, having witnessed them. Yep. I said they were salty and sweet all at the same time last night. So Chris Hedges witnessed the collapse of countries in like Yugoslavia, in Latin America, and other places. Being a senior foreign correspondent for the New York Times for 15 years. And the title from his October 10th or so article, Donald Trump, the dress rehearsal for fascism. And although I'm not sure, but why? It's probably because I'm naive or something, but I just can't get myself to agree for once with Mr. Hedges, a person who I respect immensely. When I have struggled, through the election season, to find an analogous politician in history, in modern times, for Donald Trump. And the best I could come up with was someone like Nicolas Sarkozy, who was sort of right and was in between, so France being, pretty much a socialist country, somewhat in between the moderate and the, hard right, like of Le Pen. And now there's this New York Times article, actually Jimmy brought it up, Jimmy Dort, and it's a good article. And the better politician is Berlusconi of Italy, Silvio Berlusconi. And it's not just an analogy, comparison, but it's also a prescription on the right way to resist Trump. And this is the best strategy that I've seen to do that. If you're afraid of a Donald Trump presidency and what it may become, I think people are, putting away their sexism and racism accusations against Donald Trump. It's just not turning out to be true, and we're not even hearing it from the self-identified liberal class. What they're worried about now is, this devolution into fascism. And in the article, it shows exactly how Berlusconi stayed in power so long by, it was essentially the ineptitude of his opposition who kept playing up, personal, the politics of the personal and identity politics in Italy. So instead of talking about issues, they talked about tabloid news, and they lost every time. I mean, Berlusconi just walked all over them. So it's great. And in a previous talk, I actually had something like 23 articles where everything ranging from the wall to climate change to getting rid of lobbyists and term limits in Washington, all this stuff that sounds actually good, if you're a progressive or just a average liberal. And yeah, lowbrow stuff. People are a little more informed these days. You can't, if that's your strategy, it's a losing strategy. Berlusconi proves that. Donald Trump proves that. The Democrats still don't get it. So I think if you're a Democrat, it's time to jump ship. In 2018 they're gonna lose anyway. They have 20 seats up, and they're gonna get destroyed. The Republicans, in all likelihood, will have a supermajority. In effect, there will be no choice except to work with Republicans and hope that Donald Trump is the moderate, the centrist that some of us suspect he is. And that's where I stand today. I've actually held that in secret for quite a while because we had nothing to as evidence of that. But the positions that he's coming up with, and not exactly the people he's appointing to his cabinet. So a lot of them are bad, yes, but it seems that he may govern from the center, which is probably a good thing for this country. So Bernie being the exception. Yep. Yeah. So that's what it is. Again, to recap, it is Barack Obama who has given Donald Trump all the tools he needs to be a fascist dictator in America. You can thank any bad things coming out of the Trump administration. It traces right back to Obama. And although that's a hard thing for liberals to hear, they need to hear that. They need to stop praising Obama, and they need to get with reality and wake up to the fact that stop saying he's not our president. He's going to be the president, and we gotta work with what we got. So unfortunately, we did not, even though we were happy with Obama, we did not work with that. We let him get away with everything he has done, and we cheered like lemmings the entire time. So yeah, democracy is up to us. It's not up to our leaders. We're the management of the management, right? So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm at the half-an-hour mark, which is about right. And please sign up with Real Progressives on YouTube. Check out our website where that's being developed more fully every day. We have Twitter, of course. We have our famous Facebook page, and our Patreon page where our most illustrious monthly patrons hang out. So if you want to write for us, the links are in the bottom. We are always looking for great content, great personalities, different points of view for real progressives to build a bigger coalition for everyone. All right, I'm Tatsu. I wish you a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.